why wouldn't he release the original copy, let people look at it all they want? If there's nothing wrong with it, what would be wrong with that?
Well, the Democrats for the last 15 years or more have been trying to alter that particular provision in the Constitution. They've been trying to make it okay for an illegal. They wanted Arnold Schwarzenegger for a while, I guess. You know, so they've been trying to do that. They've introduced like 10 different bills to eliminate that requirement, so an illegal alien or a foreign-born citizen could actually hold the office of president without being impeached.
Yes, they have. That'll take a constitutional amendment to change, but it's certainly not impossible they could have that. And a little bit of an aside about Mitt Romney, what people don't understand about Mitt Romney's family is that they are born, his father and grandfather were born in Mexico. They were Mormons who colonized in Mexico so they could practice polygamy. But you don't hear a thing about that, and apparently Mitt Romney has, I think, some 60 or 70 relatives that live in Mexico today, and I saw one of them on television. He was a white fellow with red hair and all of that. But yes, they went down, settled, and also there is problem with Senator Marco Rubio in Florida. A lot of people really like him. He seems to be a good conservative politician, but people are saying the same questions apply to his citizenship. He was born in the United States. He was born in Florida. However, his parents were not citizens. They were illegal aliens. So is that a quote-unquote natural-born citizen?
Is this Mitt Romney you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about Marco Rubio.
Okay, now let me address Romney for a minute. Mitt Romney. He runs Clear Channel. He was the CEO for Bain Communications, which controls Clear Channel, and he has appointed a dual citizen Zionist to run Clear Channel. That's why you don't hear anything negative about Israel on Rush Limbaugh or anybody, any of your big anchors on TV.
Oh, you'll never hear
radio. I'm talking about radio here. I mean, this show is broadcast on the internet. It's passed around through by people like you, but they certainly won't allow me on ABC or NBC or CNN.
No, not either one of us are ever going to be on those stations. And it's interesting to watch the controlled media. I am criticized by some of my friends because I even watch the news on TV. But it's good to see not only what they're covering, but what they are not covering. And you've already drawn our attention to this. They don't cover anything remotely negative about Israel and Zionism. Matter of fact, they apparently prefer not to mention those words at all unless they have to, and then it's in a sense of obligation and honor of them. But yes, only on the internet do we have anything remotely near an alternative media, and it is threatened every day. You know that well.
Matter of fact, over the last 10 years, I was getting a little too big for them, Harold. They were. I mean, I had Building Number 7 on the cover of my March 2004 issue, and that was in every Barnes and Noble around the country. And then
yes, I remember when your magazine was in Barnes and Noble. I remember it well, but no more, right?
Well, 3 months after that came out, it was maybe just a series of strange coincidences, I mean, in April of 2004, the story broke in New York Times about the Bush allowing the NSA to tap everybody's phones. And I had an AT&T phone that I'd had for at least 10 years. And somebody tapped that phone, somebody knew where I was going to be, and then suddenly I'm in an accident and drugged for 3 months in a hospital. maybe standard treatment for 3 broken ribs. I just don't think so. $750,000 hospital bill, and when I woke up, I didn't have any magazine.
Yeah, you were lucky, Clay, to wake up at all, if you ask me about it, and I followed what happened with you. Yeah, you were lucky to have waked up at all. Certainly, I don't think they wanted you to. I certainly don't think so.
My whole family was prepared well, nobody injured this badly could live. I had a bump on the head. I had 3 broken ribs. Not bad for rolling a Harley over you 3 times.
Well, I hear that, yes.
But why were they? It's really taking me a while to try to figure out why they were so afraid of me. I didn't have that much of a reach. I had a lot. I still had 10,000, 20,000 people reading my magazines every month, and they went after both of them. They closed down both of them.
Well, they were after you because you were telling the truth about a lot of things, and even though you weren't reaching millions and millions of people, they were concerned just because you seemed to be increasing your influence. And I think that was the problem for the powers that be, that they didn't want to see that your magazine made any more inroads than it did, so hence what happened happened.
I found it strange that I didn't get any support after I got out of the hospital, after I lived, and I didn't get any support from the so-called patriot movement at all. The Alex Jones, the John Stadmillers out there, GSN, none of these networks would even have me on or advertise or help me restart the Free American. What happened?
Well, some of these alternative media people, they have their own agenda too. Really, anyone in the so-called media environment mostly has their own agenda. But yes, you did not really get support from hardly anyone, did you?
No, sir. No, sir. And to this day, I really can't figure out why, unless it's because of the amount of Jewish advertising. I mean, I had one of my magazines sold for $500,000, and I still retained half of it. And then suddenly I'm in. Every stockholder's been contacted and told what a racist anti-Semite I am. So as soon as that comes up, you know where it's coming from: Southern Poverty Law or the A.D.L.
Well, yeah, no one wants to advertise because they figure they'll be labeled the same way.
That's right.
It runs off advertisers.
And they even did that. They listed me and Larry Pratt in the NAACP bulletin as being bigots. I mean, Larry Pratt's not even. He's married to a lady from Central America, I believe. But they do that to keep you from getting any kind of financing.
Well, yes, like I say, if most advertisers, they don't want to really advertise in a quote-unquote controversial publication, because even though they may not agree with all the stands that a magazine or newspaper takes, if they're associated with a quote-unquote anti-Semitic or racist publication, then it reflects on the advertisers too, and with 90% of the advertisers, that's enough to get them to not advertise with you anymore.
How do we deal with that?
Well, I don't know. That's a very good question. Fortunately, internet has helped some with all of this and provides a media that more of the truth can come out. But again, there are problems with that as well, and they're looking like they want to suppress internet even more than it is already and limit what people can hear. But so far we have that, And the fact that we can still be on the radio, as we are this morning, is a good thing.
Now,
it's
their plan,
but it's a good thing.
Their plan is divide and conquer. They want to find they want to find something about, Clay's for pro-legalization. He's pro-pot. You're damn right I am. If we abolished all the laws against victimless crimes, look how much money we'd save on police forces. And why would you put somebody in prison for something they got in their pocket if they're not hurting no one else?
Well, some people say that the idea is to make as many people get in prisons as possible, because all these private prison foundations that get contracts with state and federal government to have a prison, that's a big business. And also, some prisons are having people work and produce products. I even think that they produce furniture and things like that.
Arizona advertised. We make more than license plates.
Absolutely, yes, they do make much more than license plates, and a lot of that is directly competing with private business.
They're doing our government's. Ayn Rand had it absolutely right, Harold. The government has no control over honest citizens, so they have to make criminals out of us. They made criminals out of us, out of our uncles and our grandfathers, for making their own alcohol fuel.
That's right.
And then they've made people like me criminals because I had some marijuana in Texas back when it was a life sentence. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
So,
yeah, you and I, one time, I think it was last year on your program, we discussed drug laws and how the so-called war on drugs is nothing but a war against the American people. To put people in jail for doing nothing, that they didn't hurt anyone, they didn't commit a crime, essentially had a substance that somebody thinks you shouldn't have. And so they make very strict laws. I think California is about to have an election on legalizing marijuana, but I bet that it doesn't go over. But yeah, and Colorado has some progressive laws going. But beyond that, the so-called war on drugs, as we said, is a war on the American people, and that's really all it is.
Especially,
and
Harold, the thing, and this is pointed out in my book, Mystery Babylon, which they certainly don't want anybody to read. The CIA and the Mossad were responsible for bringing over 100 planes into Albrook Air Force Base in Panama under General Manuel Noriega. They used the CIA to build the towers, and the CIA and Mossad met the planes. They were unloaded by a friend of mine by the name of William Tyree, they murdered his wife, put him in Walpole prison for life. And from there they were flown by another gentleman you may have heard of by the name of Barry Seal, who brought me some of the best Oaxacan, pot that I ever had. And then he flew the cocaine into a little place called Mena, Arkansas, that were protected by the governor.
Yes, the Clinton.
I called William Tyree and I said, Bill, I talked to him, or he called me. I had an 800 number. I said, Bill, I sent copies of the Cthulhu document on Operation Watchtower implicating George Bush as protecting the Mossad. I sent that to Bill Clinton. He started laughing at me. He said, he ain't going to use that, Clay. He ain't going to say nothing about that. You'll hear a lot about a little place called Mena, Arkansas this year.
Yes, people need to know more about that and be reminded about those things. The drug trade has so much money involved in it that naturally intelligence organizations, secret societies of all types, in a lot of ways, they can't not have something to do with it because there's so darn much money involved in it. And money is the key to many, many things, answering many questions. Yeah, the drug trade is very lucrative, and intelligence organizations seem to be deeply involved with that.
You know, if we just allowed our farmers and the American people to grow our what was our number one cash crop in the early 1900s, hemp.
Well, it still is, but it's an illegal crop now.
Right.
Still, supposedly more money in that than any other crop grown in the United States.
If we were just allowed to our farmers to grow that, it would renew our soil. And hemp is probably the best source of a number of vitamins and minerals. I mean, it's a whole food.
Yeah, hemp oil is a very healthy thing to use.
Yes.
Yeah, hemp is a very useful crop, and just putting the psychedelic parts of it aside, just as a food product and to make clothes and cloth and things like that, hemp crops could be very, very, very profitable in this country. We're not allowed to do that.
No, they want corporate farms. I mean, what's Archer Daniels Midland, and Monsanto? These are corporate farms. They've transformed all of our agriculture. At the last depression, 30% of Americans lived and worked on farms. Today, it's something around 5% or less.
Yeah, I grew up in agricultural area of Texas. My parents, all my friends, people that I knew, were all involved in farming. You go back up there today, yes, there's still farms going on and all that, but not like it used to be, and they seem to be, the corporate farms want to get rid of the little farmer, to get him out completely, just to do away with the so-called family farm. They don't want that anymore. It's not in their interest to have such a thing.
You know, I have a plan called Liberty Villages, which is basically repopulating the family farm with low-cost structures and solar and wind power. If you generate your own electricity, grow your own food, and Texas would be an ideal place for this.
Well, it would, yes.
You know, and matter of fact, there's a little place down in Itasca, Texas, that's got these dome homes. You blow a bubble up and put a cloth over it and spray it with water, and you got an instant house. You know.
I know exactly where Itasca, Texas is. I grew up about 10 miles from there. Yes, yes.
I've had the gentleman on my show. We really got answers. As a matter of fact, I've got some more things up on my website. They've got a wheel a guy made out of a new type of metal, and this metal has a memory. When it's cold, it's pliable. When it gets hot, it becomes rigid.
Wow.
And he made a wheel out of that and dropped it into a vat of hot water on one side, cold water on the other side, and the wheel just keeps turning. The metal turns the wheel. They've got plans. This is MIT, I believe, is doing the investigation on this metal. But it's a whole new, perpetual motion machine, just like the magnetics that we know we could do.
Yeah.
We know we could do magnetics. We know we could do that. And matter of fact, that may be the reason, Harrell, we're going to war with Iran, because an engineer over in Iran figured out a magnetic propulsion system and created his own UFO that Iran's got. And links for all that are up on my site. But we really have the technology, and if we stop financing these banks, if we stop paying for our homes 3 times, and if you miss a payment, man, you lost a home you've been paying on for 30 years. They've made, Thomas Jefferson told us, if you allow a private bank to issue your money, the banks and the corporations that spring up around it will leave your children homeless in the land that we've conquered. And then that's exactly what's happened.
Yes.
I want to change it, but I'm anti-Semitic for wanting to change that. I'm a radical. I'm a racist. And maybe I am anti-government. Maybe we are anti-government here. If we don't want a communist government, if we want a constitutional republic that our founding fathers gave us if we could keep it.
If we could keep it, yes. So far, we've not done very well with that, and as you pointed out, it seems to be, for a lot of practical purposes, already over with almost.
Well, I refuse to quit. I refuse to quit. You know, and I tell you what, I would love to come back to Texas. Every time I come back to Texas, they try to put me in jail, but I'd love to come back to Texas if I could get people to work with. I mean, the old Texas nationalist movement, I mean, they're pretty good. They publish, they print my books, but they don't sell many. So, you know, we're all kind of hurting in the same way. I mean, we got books, we got information, but nobody wants to pay for it over the internet.
Well, that's the same thing, yeah. The book I just got out, From the Temple to the Talmud, I was very lucky that Barnes Review magazine was able to publish that and promote it. But so far, no one, the so-called Zionists and the Rothschild Zionists, they're ignoring the book, and they certainly don't want to review it or even mention it. It's like a lot of things. They prefer not to even mention those things that might get someone interested. So they don't want to do that.
Well, I tell you what, I'd like to have your book on my site. I'd like for my book to be on your site. This is the only way we're going to counteract them. We got to start our own news media because they don't want this kind of information coming out.
Well, I'd say we've got so-called alternative media on the internet, but they many times are people that have their own agenda as well. So yes, we need to continue creating alternative media, and that's what you've done with your website, which I love to have it, and it provides a bunch of information for those who really want to know something.
They really tried hard to put that down. They went in and bought my ISP up in Oregon that I've been with for about 10 years. They bought it and ran it for 2 months, stole everything, closed everything down, and locked everything up, and I was without a website for about 3 months after I got out of the hospital.
Well, it makes sense. They'd hoped to do away and that you wouldn't do anything. Yes, fortunately, they were wrong.
Yeah, I'm hard to kill, and I'm too stubborn to quit. You know.
Oh, absolutely, I love that.
But
yes,
you know, Harrell. I mean, we've got people, and people that you probably know. David Von Kleist lived with Joyce Riley for a while. He expatriated to Argentina, and
I had wondered what had happened to him. Yes, I met him a long time ago at one of the Barnes Review conferences. He was a master of ceremony when I got to meet him. I love Joyce Riley's radio program. It's great.
Yeah, she's done a good job. She doesn't like me. She's upset with me because I was her competition again. You know, we go back to that whole competition thing.
Well, again, like I say, you get into the alternative media, it's like any form of media. People have their own agenda. Sometimes, rather than see you as an ally, they prefer to see you as a competitor against an enemy. So, yes, we need to continue establishing more and more and more alternative media situations.
Well, in that line, and to finish up on this, let's tell everybody about your book, what is it, what it concerns, and how they can get it. The links are up on my site, but you got 4 minutes here. Go ahead.
I'll say very briefly, yeah, my book is called From the Temple to the Talmud. It's a survey of Jewish history from way, way back to the present time. Goes into a lot about the Khazars and how that Khazar Zionism has become the Jews of today. It's available on the BarnesReview.org website. Also, you can find it on Amazon for sale. Again, it is called From the Temple to the Talmud, and you can read a review of it on Barnes Review, or you can buy it there, or you can just go to Amazon and look for it there under my name. I'll spell my name because it's spelled oddly. My first name is Harrell, spelled Harrell. My last name is Rhome, spelled R-H-O-M-E. Look for the book, get it. And a lot of people are buying it. I got my first royalty check recently. It wasn't $1 million or anything like that, but obviously people are buying the book, which I am delighted. And I'm delighted that Barnes Review was able to publish it. I love being on your radio program. Keep on what you're doing, my friend. Keep on with what you're doing.
I will do that, and I'll keep on doing that. And all the links. What is the Gnostic Liberation Front.com?
Yes, you can. If you GnosticLiberationFront.com, but if you will just email me, I will send you links and all of that. My email address, I'll say it, then I'll spell it, is eaglerevisionist@AOL.com. That's EAGLEREVISIONIST. EagleRevisionist@AOL.com. Email me. I'll send you all kind of stuff and get you on my mailing list.
Great. And Harrell, I'll have you back on. You know, it's we're really faced with the problem. How do we oppose this without becoming evil? I mean, it's kind of what happened to the Jews. They went to Israel and after being persecuted supposedly by the Germans, they went to Israel and did worse to the Palestinians. So how do we avoid fighting evil without becoming evil and fighting it?
Yes, not to become evil, but we must be able to support the betterment of our own people and to not hurt other people and not strike out at other people, but to promote our own ways and our own culture and not be ashamed of that, and that our white children won't be ashamed of that. I think many white children today are essentially ashamed of being white, and their parents don't have anything to say to them about any of that, and we are in a very, very bad situation, and we need to change it, and the only way to change it is to have more and more people talking like you and I are talking this morning. We're not talking about hating anyone.
That's
We're
right.
talking about loving our own people.
That's right. But the people that tell you we're the haters, that's the ones that are trying to drive the hate. They want you to be afraid. I mean, I had people come up to me, and when I was working with Charles Collins, who was running for president, are you the militia? Yeah. Yeah. Why? Yeah, I am. Why are you upset? How old are you, son? 22? Guess what? You were in the militia too, bud. You know, does it scare you when you walk by the mirror? We've got we need people standing up for this, and I call this White Week here on the Free American Hour because I'm white, I'm a Texan, and I'm proud of both of those facts. You know?
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean because I'm Texas, I doesn't mean I hate anybody from Louisiana or New Mexico or Oklahoma, unless of course they refer to us as Baja, Oklahoma. Then we got to fight. You know? And folks, that don't make us a racist. I am not a racist, and I challenge anybody out there in the mainstream media, have me on your show, do an interview with me. You think I'm a racist? Show me. Show the world. Show the world.
Don't you wish they would?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I don't care what religion you are, and I don't care what color you are. I'm proud to be white. I'm proud to be a Texan. I'm proud to be a biker. I'm proud to be a patriot, and I'm proud to be an American.
God bless you, Clay Douglas. Keep on keeping on.
Thank you, Harrell Rhome. God bless you. I'll have you back on, sir, real soon, sir. Thank you.
Good day, sir. Have a great day.
Good day.